Presenting
The Complete
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles and the Mercury Theatre on the air in The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells.
This is Orson Welles, speaking from London.
As the third man.
Stand by.
We'll be on the air in 15 seconds, Mr. Wells. Yes, I know.
Stand by, everybody.
Mercury Theatre on the air presents Orson Welles as Count Dracula in his own version of Bram Stoker's great novel, Dracula.
What evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows.
Hello world, welcome to The Complete Orson Welles, brought to you by Dwayne Old Time Radio. This podcast will feature various classic radio programs ranging mostly from 1936 to 1952 that Orson either produced and directed, was featured on, or starred as a guest. If you enjoy my podcast, you can subscribe to receive notifications of new posts. Subscribing is free and only takes a moment. New episodes are posted weekly. If inclined, please leave a rating and or review on your preferred podcast service. Thank you for your support. Hope you enjoyed the genius of Mr. Welles. This week we have an episode from the Mercury Theatre titled President Vargas' Birthday. For those who don't know, President Vargas was a famous and beloved lawyer and politician in Brazil. He was nicknamed the father of the poor. If you listen to a lot of Orson Welles, you will learn that he really had an affinity for Brazil. He traveled there a lot and he did a handful of radio programs about Brazil. So clearly he really liked Brazil a lot. This episode aired April 18th, 1942.
Hello, America. This is Orson Welles speaking from South America, from Rio de Janeiro in the United States of Brazil. This is a special broadcast commemorating a special occasion. This is a birthday party, one of many being celebrated tonight in this country. For the benefit of the Brazilian Red Cross, just as our parties back home on January 30th are for the benefit of the Warm Springs Foundation. And as ours are in the honor of the President of the United States of America, tonight's birthday parties are in honor of the President of Brazil, Mr. Roosevelt's great and good friend, Dr. Getúlio Vargas. This radio show is for all his friends, from Maine to Manaus, from Sao Paulo to Chicago, from San Salvador to San Francisco. This is being transmitted over most of the stations in Brazil and over 100 stations in North America, so that as many of those friends as possible can come to the same party and join us here in Rio in extending to Brazil's president the heartiest congratulations of all the Americas. I can see people from most of our 22 republics from where I'm standing right now. A good complement of representatives from the United Nations. Nothing official, mind you. Everybody's here because they wanted to come. This is a real party. I'm not speaking from a platform covered with bunting and government officials. This microphone is in the grill room of the Orca Casino, which is one of the last truly gay places in the world. South America's top stars are going to entertain, and 3-star orchestras are going to play. One of them's playing now. Obmagao is a name that means a lot to people who like to dance here in Brazil. And as you neighbors probably know, Brazilians like to dance. Now here's more dance music. Let's listen to that. As danceable as any you'll find on this continent. A fine band, and a fine band leader, Carlos Machado. Finally, as befits the international color of these festivities, here's the #1 jazz band of the continent of Europe and its leader, Ray Ventura.
Bonsoir, mesdames, mesdemoiselles, messieurs. Buenas noches, senores, señoras. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ray Ventura speaking. And with your kind permission, we would like to perform for you this evening a beautiful new Brazilian song by São Roras and Vicente Paiva, Tudo a Brasil.
Brazil. That means all is Brazil. By the time the hit parade and the jukeboxes catch up with this suave and quotable melody, English words will have been found for the lovely Portuguese lyrics. Meanwhile, for you neighbors up north, here's the sense of part of it. All is Brazil, where the sky is brighter. Oh, my Brazil. Land which God created. You are the first in the world. I could think of no nicer popular Brazilian music to open this program. It's a safe guess that President Vargas likes Tudo Brasil as much as we do. You are the first in the world. There is no other country like this. I am a Brazilian. Oh, my Brazil. Dr. Getúlio Vargas is the president of the largest republic in the Western Hemisphere. You could put the entire USA within the borders of Brazil and still have room for several more American republics. Uruguay and Paraguay, let's say, and Haiti and Chile and Costa Rica. And Brazil is just as beautiful as it's big. And it's a country remarkable for many things besides its geography. We say of Brazil, Brazil says of itself, that it's a land of promise. Of course, that's tremendously true. But today, Brazil is rich in achievement. The word promise might seem to deny this, or to forget it. We must remember the promises which are being kept. The unification of Brazil, the Council of Health for the Indians, the National Department for Child Welfare, housing projects, the repopulation of the Amazon, the march to the west, a new naval school for a new navy, the eager development of aviation, a program for Brazilian industry, Baixada Fluminense, the great and greatly successful project for the reclamation of swampland. On this occasion, it's our pleasure to remember that these promises were made and are being kept by President Vargas.
Oh,
you scramble the two words music and Brazil together, and then unscramble them again, you end up with the word samba. Also, if you scramble a moderate number of Brazilians together and then unscramble them, you find that they've been dancing the samba. I think they will admit they need very little provocation to begin with. And once they've started dancing, they need no encouragement at all to continue. If no one is standing by to give them the rhythm, they roll their own, using matchboxes, straw hats, tabletops, little pieces of wood, anything at hand. And if no one is standing by to stop them, they're quite capable of dancing until dawn. And then another dawn. And then still another. From all this, we neighbors have guessed that the samba is quite some phenomenon. Well, the song you hear now is called, as I'm sure you all know, Dolores. It's a general description of the charms of a lady by that name and a plea for her to be mine, all mine. I, Dolores. You will notice that it's in the popular dance tempo of the United States. Down here, they call this rhythm simply the fox. We have been talking about samba, and ladies and gentlemen, I promise you we haven't changed the subject. Instead, we're going to change the rhythm right before your ears. Here in Brazil, Dolores is a samba. I mean, they play it as a samba. Now, we've offered it to you in its North American condition to help North Americans appreciate the difference. Listen carefully, if you please, to the orchestra of Carlos Machado. Here comes the samba now. Ladies and gentlemen, was Dolores, played by Carlos Machado and his orchestra as a samba, and sung by Emilina Borba. Now, you listeners up in the States, please don't get us wrong. Samba isn't just a way of playing North American jazz. We played Dolores as an exception to explain a rule. Samba is 100% Brazilian. Here's a real samba, the big hit of the year. Old Magal and his orchestra bring you Amelia. First time most of you listeners on the other side of the equator have heard Amelia. For your benefit, let me explain that Amelia was a wonderful girl. She didn't care about money. She didn't even mind going hungry with a man she loved. Isn't that right, Choo-Choo?
Yes, and the singer has a new girl now, and all she cares about is money.
All the new girl cares about?
Amelia was different. She didn't care about clothes or jewels or anything except loving him. She was...
For your benefit, let me explain that Amelia was a wonderful girl. She didn't care about money. She didn't even mind going hungry with a man she loved. Isn't that right, Choo-Choo?
Yes, and the singer has a new girl now, and all she cares about is money.
All the new girl cares about?
Amelia was different. She didn't care about clothes or jewels or anything except loving him. She was really a wonderful girl.
She certainly was.
The singer says he has saudades of Amelia.
The singer? Well, that's you, Choo-Choo. Saudades, that's, well, saudades. Memory? Longing, nostalgia. No, I guess that word can't be translated. Do you agree?
Well, my English isn't very good, Mr. Wells. Neither is my Portuguese.
Choo-Choo, I think I should explain. Ladies and gentlemen, Choo-Choo is a Mexican, which means, of course, that he speaks Spanish. Also, Choo-Choo is Choo-Choo Martinez, which is to say that he's one of the finest singers in our hemisphere. 5 weeks ago, he tried out Amelia here at the Orca Casino, where he's appearing. I guess it was the first time a Mexican ever sang a samba in Rio de Janeiro. You wouldn't think Brazilians would like anybody else's version of the samba, would you? Choo-Choo tells me he was scared to death that night. Am I right, Choo-Choo?
I certainly was.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you should have heard that ovation. Amazingly enough, a Mexican singer's interpretation of Rio's favorite samba is the biggest hit of the Rio season. And now you're going to hear why.
Nunca vi fazer tanta exigência, nem fazer o que você me fala. Você não sabe o que é consciência. Não vê que eu sou paz. Você só pensa em luxo e riqueza. Tudo que você vê, você quer. Ai, meu Deus, que saudade da minha. Aquilo sim é que era mulher. Às vezes passava fome ao meu lado e achava bonito não ter que comer. E quando me via contrariado, dizia: filhinho, que se há de fazer? Amélia não tinha a menor vaidade. Amélia que era mulher de verdade. Amélia não tinha a menor vaidade. Amélia que era mulher de verdade.
gentlemen, we're nothing at all if we aren't Pan-American. We played for you a North American jazz imitation of a Mexican song rendered by a Brazilian orchestra into a samba. We followed this with a Mexican singer singing a real samba. That's what you just heard, Amelia starring Chucho Martinez. They say here that the samba is the soul of Brazil. This is a very popular saying, and like many popular sayings, it can be misconstrued. It might lead you to believe, for instance, that Brazilians think seriously of nothing but dancing and singing and indulging in the other aspects of carnival. This is not true, as any Brazilian will tell you. Isn't that right, Linda? That's what you're supposed to say. Yeah, you're supposed to say that.
It's not true.
Hello, Linda. Come on. Huh? Ladies and gentlemen, the voice you just heard, a little off cue, was not the voice of any Brazilian. Happens to be the very special voice of Senorita Linda Batista, the best samba singer in the Orca Casino, which is to say in Rio.
Thank you.
Which is to say in Brazil, which is to say in the whole world.
Thank you, Orson. But please remember, it's not my birthday today.
All right, Linda. She wrote that in. Let's get back to Brazil.
A big country, very big country.
Yes, indeed it is. It's a wonderful country, Linda.
I like it very much.
Good.
Every Brazilian likes very much.
I've noticed that. Oh, really? Some Brazilians like the Sertões of the north. Some like the cattle plains of the south. Some like the port cities along the coast. Some like the jungles in the interior. But all Brazilians like Brazil, as you say, very much.
Very much.
Yes, very much. I wonder why that is, Linda.
2 reasons.
Yes?
First, this is Brazil.
Tudo é Brazil. That's true.
Muito bem.
Obrigado. That's true. And second?
Brazilians are Brazilians.
Brazilians are Brazilians.
Yes. Correctly?
Correctly. In the face of such unanswerable logic, ladies and gentlemen, I've only one action to take. I'll introduce Linda Batista's number and turn the proceedings over to her. She's going to sing a song whose title, in Portuguese, is Sabemos Lutar.
In English, this means we know how to fight.
It's a song for time, the present. It's a song for all these Brazilians who love big Brazil. It's a song for all these men and women who love certain things bigger than even big Brazil. It's a song that says this: if I have to fight in the war, I'll defend my country with all the love and all the ardor and all the vigor of my Brazilian spirit. We like peace, love the beauty of our land. But when we're challenged, we'll show that we know how to fight. We'll fight for the very sky that covers the hopes of South America.
Very good.
This is Orson Welles bringing you a special broadcast from Rio de Janeiro in celebration of the birthday of the President of Brazil. I I'm proud to present at this time the United States Ambassador to Brazil, the Honorable Jefferson Caffrey.
Americans all over Brazil are joining with their Brazilian friends tonight in celebrating President Vargas' birthday. All of these affairs are in benefit of the Brazilian Red Cross. We Americans are particularly happy to have this occasion into which to express publicly our sentiments of deep gratitude for the splendid cooperation which President Vargas and the Brazilian people are extending to us.
Just time on this broadcast for a closing word. A word to Dr. Getúlio Vargas. Mr. President, I'm neither my country's ambassador nor a Brazilian. I have no business on this program except insofar as radio programs are my business. That's why I'm here at this microphone. That's all that singles me out from my fellow Americans, from about 250 million of my fellow Americans. That makes me the lucky fellow who's speaking tonight for Mr. and Mrs., for Senor and Senora, North and South and Central America. Mr. President, this is a great day. Many happy returns.
Na guerra, se eu tiver que combater, minha terra, eu juro que de defender, com amor, com vigor, que o peito brasileiro, hei de defender o céu azul, que serve de esperanças da América do Sul, hei de defender o céu azul, que serve de esperanças da América do Sul. E gostamos da paz, amamos da beleza da nossa natureza. Não mais se alguém nos vier desrespeitar, nós mostraremos que sabemos lutar e lutaremos por este céu azul, que serve de esperanças da América do Sul. Que serve de esperanças da
You have been listening to a special broadcast from Rio de Janeiro, dedicated to President Getúlio Vargas and produced by Orson Welles. Good night from Rio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Network has brought you a program of melodies and songs and dance music from Rio de Janeiro in celebration of the birthday of Dr. Getúlio Vargas, President of Brazil. This is the Blue Network.
Thank you for listening to and showing your support for my podcast. If you would like to receive notifications of when new episodes are posted, please subscribe to my channel. Subscriptions are 100% free, and they really help me get an idea of how I'm doing. You can also go to my website where you can listen to all of my podcasts for free, and you can also download episodes for free. The website is otr.duane.media. There is also donation information on there if you want to show your support or become a patron. You can email me at info@otr.duane.media. I'm also on Instagram at duane.otr. Well, hope you enjoyed, and until next time, stay safe, wish you well, and as always, peace.